Horse Tales is proudly brought to you by the South Carolina Department of Agriculture. South Carolina, a true leader in the equine industry.
Folks, the old Pee Dee Cowboy's back home, Union County, North Carolina. Monroe Hospital right up the road where the old cowboy was hatched. Actually, I was a little bit like Pecos Bill. You know, Pecos Bill was found beside the river. That's what Mama did. She said, oh, Lord. So she left me beside the river. No, just kidding, folks. Listen, I'm up here with Lee and Sam Helms at Trickle Creek Farms. They're going to teach us a little bit about cowboy mounted shooting. Got some beautiful scenery here today, some great quarter horses. So, folks, stay tuned for some great action. Horse Tales is being brought to you today by Nationwide Insurance. When the Pee Dee Cowboy rides, he rides with Nationwide on his side. By Southern Eagle. Horse Tales is being brought to you today by Kingstree Auction Company, selling land and farm equipment. Call Alton Brown today at 843-382-2121. By Equestrian Images, making memories together. Folks, right on into Dillon Meat Center in Dillon, South Carolina, and check out their full line of Carolina Fresh Foods poultry. Tell Douglas and Terry Wayne Jackson the old Pee Dee Cowboy said, come by and take home a package of Carolina Fresh Foods. By the South Carolina Department of Agriculture, a leader in the equine industry.
To you by Morrell Tire Service, Latta, South Carolina. Folks, ride on down to Morrell Tire and let Richard and his professional staff treat you like family.
2014 is the year of the horse. The South Carolina Department of Agriculture is working to promote your horses and your business. We are working to open new areas for trail use and to let the public know how important horses are. South Carolina has world-class horses and horse people. From race horses to show horses, we have the best. The South Carolina Department of Agriculture, letting people know how important horses are.
Folks, relive the past on October 18th as the Cedar Swamp Lancers bring back an old-fashioned lancing tournament. Enjoy great horsemanship and a full day of family entertainment. We'll see you October 18th in Kingstree, South Carolina. Folks, the Pee Dee Cowboy rides for the brand, and my brand is Carolina Fresh Foods. We have a new product out on the range, so ride on into your local Piggly Wiggly or other fine retailer and ask for Carolina Fresh Premium Leg Quarter. And folks, if they don't have one in the corral, tell them to get cracking and call the old Pee Dee Cowboy and his elite posse of chicken wranglers. Carolina Fresh Foods, the name says it all. We are Freshalicious.
There once was a hungry road that wouldn't let drivers get very far. It wore out their tires, forcing them to buy new ones time and time again. Then along came the Michelin man who proved the right tire changes everything. With long-lasting tires in place, those drivers were back on the road to saving money. Michelin Hydro Edge tires last up to 33,000 miles longer. Michelin, a better way forward.
Folks, relive the past on October 18th as the Cedar Swamp Lancers bring back an old-fashioned lancing tournament. Enjoy great horsemanship and a full day of family entertainment. We'll see you October 18th in Kingstree, South Carolina. Folks, join now is Lee Helms, the Easy on Your Eyes partner in Trickle Creek Farms. Lee, we got a lot to cover here. First off, I heard you from Texas, and you got a very interesting story about how you got out here.
I am from East Texas. The biggest town close to me was Tyler, Texas. Lived there my whole life, and got to North Carolina by lies. My best friend from high school had lied to me like a dog. She told me, you got to come up here, Leanne. You got to. There's good-looking cowboys everywhere. You're going to love it. So I was 18, working 2 jobs, never really left the state of Texas, so I thought, what I got to lose? So I loaded up my truck, drove it to North Carolina, and I've been here ever since.
Wow, you know, Lee, all my exes live in Texas. Did you know that?
Yeah, I heard that.
Well, how in the world did you get up with that long, tall drink of cowboy Sam Hams?
We actually met dancing. In East Texas, I grew up in honky-tonks, you know, two-stepping. Line dancing wasn't big back where I was from, because if you didn't Texas two-steps, that's all there was. So up here, line dancing was all everyone ever did. And I thought that was the coolest thing. I was 18, I didn't need a dance partner, I could dance all I wanted to by myself. And I actually met Sam up there. So we started, we met dancing, of all things, and he thought, you know, Texas cowgirl, of course she can ride, right?
Right.
Needless to say, I couldn't ride a horse. I thought I could. I realized, I think I'm like most people, I thought I knew how to ride. And I met Sam and we went on our first date, and it was awful. It was awful. He put me on this horse named Sleepy, this quarter horse, dead to head. I couldn't get him to leave the barn. Couldn't get him to leave the barn. Needless to say, Sam's hopes in me went down, like from there to there, because he thought I could ride, and I did too. And what I realized is, that's what I learned. I actually learned how to ride in North Carolina because I did what most people think. I thought I knew what horses needed. I would neck rein and say, why is he not going? Why is he not turning? And what I realized, I didn't know how to communicate at all with the horse. And everything I thought was the horse's fault. Was raised, what's wrong with your horse? Why aren't your horse not listening? When I realized the whole time it was me. It was miscommunications. And so I actually learned how to ride from Sam, which was not an easy task. You'll see later, he doesn't talk a whole lot. He likes you to do it the hard way first before you realize there's a better way. And it took me a couple years, and I had that aha moment. I loved horses, always have, like most girls, loved riding them, but I was always scared to death. I was always rode to the pit of my stomach. When is it going to happen? Are they going to buck me, hurt me? You know, something bad's going to happen. And then years of training with Sam, I rode one of our young horses, and the horse spooked. And it was the first time that my stomach didn't end up in my throat. And I thought, oh, okay, I get it now. It's okay, they're going to spook. I don't have to be afraid of that because I know how to ride now. I knew how to keep my butt in the seat. When they spooked, I moved with them. You know, I didn't think I was going to die. And I literally started teaching months after that. I decided if people knew the secrets I know now, more people would stay into horses. They wouldn't be afraid. They wouldn't ride with fear.
Well, get us what are we going to be doing here today? So
what we're going to do today is kind of a typical, how do I get started in the sport?
Okay.
There's a lot involved in getting started in the sport. You have to have a horse that can handle the gunfire. You actually have to have a horse, too, that can handle the maneuvers that are required in this sport. It's there's over 60 to 100 patterns that we run, so there's a lot going on. So it's more than just the gunfire, so you got to find the right horse. A lot of people want to train their own horses, and then we're going to kind of evaluate today your horse to see, you know, Sam will tell you what he thinks, you know, how he's going to take to the gunfire, how much time it might take. And then we're going to also put you hopefully on a finish shooting horse so you can see what it's like to do it just to go do the sport.
Let me stop you right there. Folks, I was reading up on this, and it's a 60-second penalty for falling off. You're going to waive that, right?
And I don't think we're going to have that today.
There you go.
So we're going to kind of go from the start to finish of, you know, a brief getting started in the sport, what's involved in getting started, even some of the costs that are involved, because, you know, it's like anything with horses. This is not a cheap sport. But it's an exciting sport. The people are phenomenal. The sport, it's challenging. There's horsemanship, there's guns, there's gun belts. I mean, it's true cowboy out there. And I didn't think I would want to do the sport. And when I tried it May of 2009 on Mother's Day. That was my Mother's Day present. I thought, first of all, I'm not a gun person. I'm a klutz. You know, I can ride well, but you put me on a horse with a gun. That can't end well. And I ran out in there and shot a stage, and you could not wipe the grit off my face. You cannot. And until this day, still to this day, you still can't. I love what I do. It's been 5 years, and it's still just as exciting getting on. I never thought I'd run fast on a horse. Now I run my horse as fast as he'll go through a course and try to shoot. Now it's me getting shooting as good as fast as I want to run the courses. So it's just such an exciting sport, and it's developed. And I've been from the ground up with the sport of being nervous, not knowing how to handle a gun, being overwhelmed by so many different patterns. And what we decided when we became Hired Gun Horsemanship, we thought there's a better way. The first couple of years, we tried a lot of other people's way. You know, we're new into the sport, we were open to learn, but what we realized, none of them really helped us as much. So what we did is we kind of figured there's got to be an easier way of doing what we do. And that's when we formed Hired Gun Horsemanship, because we thought there's a better way to train horses. I love working with people, and if people understand what we're doing out here and find the communication with the horse better, then we're developing success. And that's what we've seen a lot of people get involved and then get out, because either they got hurt on their horse, they weren't taught the easy way, they were out there doing it the hard way all the time without purpose. So we decided to you know what, there's a better way of doing it, and ever since we've been doing it, it's just grown every year into more and more stuff. So today we're going to kind of go over from start to finish the ins and outs of cowboy mounted shooting.
Well, we've covered a lot here, folks, and we're getting ready to put hands on a little bit, right?
We are.
Well, you heard it straight from the professional's mouth, and we get ready to go have some good old cowboy mounted shooting action. All right, teacher.
Okay, so Dave, this is where we're going to start. In the sport, we have a timer, okay? This is a timed event. It's you and your horse. Every time you miss a balloon, it's 5 seconds added to your time.
Okay.
So our goal is not to what?
Not to miss a balloon?
Not to miss a balloon. So this is called our warm-up, which means this is where you take your warm-up before you take the stage.
Okay.
After you shoot the last 5, what we call the rundown, this is your shutdown.
Okay.
More accidents actually happen in the shutdown because people quit riding. So it's very important that you follow the rules. You never stop riding until you stop your horse, holster your gun. Okay? So this course that we're running today, remember there's lots of courses to run. This is a nice, good
62.
There's 64 in just one association. And 2 other associations have 30 courses each.
Okay.
So there's average about 100 patterns to run.
Wow.
We call this pattern the T. In this sport, you shoot 5 of the light color balloons first. That's called the random part of the course. Okay? So we're going to shoot the yellow balloons first.
Okay.
Then we're going to make a gun change. And then we're going to round the rundown barrel and shoot the rundown.
Okay.
Okay? So this first time what we're going to do is we're just going to trot up through these first 5 and then lope the rundown. And now we're going to follow the leader.
I think I can do that.
Okay, so we're going to pretend to do our little warm-up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out here to my left and they're just going to kind of trot behind me.
Gotcha.
I'm going to tell you we're going to draw the gun and hold center.
Okay.
Okay? We ready?
Ready.
Okay, let's do this. So we're going to get up to a little trot. My head's up. I'm focusing on my course. Right now I'm going to draw my gun and hold center. Now we're picking the line. So we're going to hold, for a newer shooter, you're going to actually hold out further. So you want to move to your right a little bit more. We want about 15 feet outside that number 1 yellow balloon. Then as we get closer, we're going to turn, and I want you to engage that balloon, and I want you to click 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Arm straight out. 1, 2. 1, 2. Now you're going to make your gun change. Don't look.
No.
All right, now we're going to pick up a lope. You ready?
Yeah.
And we're going to go ahead and start pointing at that number 1 rundown balloon. And go 1, 2.
1, 2.
1, 2.
1, 2.
1, 2.
1, 2.
1, 2. All the way down. Don't quit riding. 1, 2. Gun to center. All the way. We always turn our horses back to the timer so they don't try to rush out the gate. And we say, whoa. And then we holster.
Can we tighten this
Yeah,
up?
we can. We can fix all that.
I might want to drop that rein stirrup just one notch. All right, folks, here we go. Pee Dee Cowboy can see what he can do. Good girl, Banjo, good girl. Good girl. Woo! Good girl. Folks, the first time, I think I got them all, wasn't too fast, but I think I heard it early on the show. Cowboy crack. I've jumped on a 415-pound bull hog in the river last week. That was pretty exciting, so was that. So folks, you never know where you're gonna see me next.
Hi, I'm Carson Ray Helms with Hired Gun Horsemanship. Stay tuned for more horse tales.
Horse Tales is being brought to you today by Nationwide Insurance. When the Pee Dee Cowboy rides, he rides with Nationwide on his side.
By Southern Equine Services, located in Aiken, South Carolina. Dr. Jamie Clark and his staff offers Aiken and surrounding area with full service equine veterinary practice, offering ambulatory and hospital services. Visit them online for all they offer to keep your horse healthy.
Kinlaw's Supermarket, the meat store, now proudly carrying a full line of Carolina Fresh Foods 3-pack fresh frozen chicken. Ride on into Kinlaw's until
Travis and Tommy Kinlaw, you heard about them from the old Pee Dee Cowboy and by Best Way Grocery, serving the Hemingway area with the best meats and the Pee Dee.
When you hear the name Earnhardt, you might not immediately think of farming. But my family's been at it for years, just like Nationwide Agribusiness. In fact, they're the #1 farm insurer in the nation. And with their On Your Side Farm Review, you get a personalized policy for your farm with the coverage you need at the right price for you. My family's trusted Nationwide for more than 30 years. To find out why, call your Nationwide Agribusiness agent today.
Folks, the Pee Dee Cowboy arrives for the brand, and my brand is Carolina Fresh Foods. We have a new product out on the range, so ride on into your local Piggly Wiggly or other fine retailer and ask for Carolina Fresh Premium Leg Quarter. And folks, if they don't have one in the corral, tell them to get cracking and call the old Pee Dee Cowboy and his elite posse of chicken wranglers. Carolina Fresh Foods, the name says it all. We are Freshalicious.
2014 is the year of the horse. The South Carolina Department of Agriculture is working to promote your horses and your business. We are working to open new areas for trail use and to let the public know how important horses are. South Carolina has world-class horses and horse people. From race horses to show horses, we have the best. The South Carolina Department of Agriculture, letting people know how important horses are.
There once was a hungry road that wouldn't let drivers get very far. It wore out their tires, forcing them to buy new ones time and time again. Then along came the Michelin man who proved the right tire changes everything. With long-lasting tires in place, those drivers were back on the road to saving money. Michelin Hydro Edge tires last up to 33,000 miles longer. Michelin, a better way forward.
Join me now, Sam Helms, Cowboy Mounted Shooter Training Extraordinaire. Sam, you've been at this a few years now. How long?
Oh, let's see. I've been at home training full-time for about 3 or 4 years.
Right.
We've been doing the sport about 6, I reckon.
Well, I made a joke a while ago about all my exes being from Texas, but you made a lot of old cowboys broke their heart out in Texas that you married this Texas girl. How did all that come about?
She walked in a bar one night, and that's about all it took. We met in a bar dancing, and we kind of took off from there. Had a pretty interesting beginning, but so far so good.
Well, she told me she taught you how to dance and how to train a horse. Is that true?
That's a lie.
Well, Sam, we're here today. We're looking really forward. You're going to help me a little bit here at the end of the show about this, but heard about you from a good friend, Mark Halsman, says you're doing a real good job out here with Cowboy Mounted Shooting. Let's just start. Where do you start about Cowboy Mounted Shooting?
We start basically with owner. A lot of people want to do this sport off their horse. Okay, and that's great. Okay, but what you have to do is we have to come see if your horse is capable. Okay. So that means, can he ride? Can you maneuver him effectively through a course of fire? Then the second thing is we figure out how calm he is. Will he take to the gunfire? But the biggest thing about mounted shooting is horsemanship. If you can't navigate your horse successfully, I can break him to gunfire. That's not a problem. But to be able to navigate a course successfully at speed and the speed that the rider can handle is another problem.
50-50 in this sport?
I would say 75-25. More rider.
Oh, really?
We see more rider arrows than anything else. Everybody thinks it's a horse now. We'll see a lot, but now that's all in the eye of the beholder.
Right.
So you see a lot of people come here and say, oh, my horse did that. Well, a careful eye sitting on the rail will say, well, you never did ask him to turn right there. You're just too busy shooting. So you got to watch real careful.
All right, so when somebody comes to you and so what happens if their horse, they have a horse they love, and how would you evaluate if he just wouldn't make a, why wouldn't he make a to the gunfire?
If let's say you've got a horse and he's just been trail rode all his life, and that's all you've done with him. He don't know how to neck rein. Well, then we have to teach him how to neck rein, because you've got a 45 in one hand and the reins in the other. So you're having to navigate with one hand while you're shooting with the other. So first, right off the bat, we have to teach him how to neck rein. Second off, we have to teach him to not be afraid of the gunfire. And then along with the gunfire, you had the smoke and the balloons busting. And also, if the horse is, just a good old trail horse, and he's never been hauled anywhere to an arena setting type of place with other horses and other people and in an enclosed building, you got that to deal with as well.
Well, all right, so if I come and my horse will make it, what's the next step for me?
Well, first you got to write me a check.
It's in the mail.
Yeah. For what we do is we immediately start with the gunfire. I start in around him with all the gunfire, and then I find out how quiet that horse will be. I do everything on the ground, on their back, and be sure the horse is really quiet with the gunfire first. While I'm doing that, I'm riding him out in the arena, working on his reining and handling and being sure that he can navigate a course of fire successfully. We're a little bit different, and we want our owners to come here and work with us. But about the 3-week point, I want you to come here and ride your horse with me and say, this is better, this is not, this is working, this is not, so I can tweak that horse for you, because I can probably go out here and ride him, but if you can't ride him and make me look good, I don't look good.
Well, Sam, you are a level 6 rider. And so tell the folks, you've been doing this how many years now?
About, I think 5 or 6.
So you went from naturally level 1 to level 6. How long did that take?
I showed up at the first event in Georgia, I think in 09. Yeah, 09, I think. Well, I did everything wrong in that event I could do. I broke the timer, I dropped the gun, I didn't load them, I got all that out of the way. Well, we had just started doing the sport on that old stud horse, and in 22 months I went from a 1 to a 5. There's
not quite 2 years, okay?
Yeah, it's 22 months to the day. I'll never forget it, because that was the first match I screwed up at. 2 years later, 2 months earlier, that was a match I moved up to the 5s. In the CMSA, when you move up to the 5s, you're in the open division. You're considered a pro. If you're a 5 or a 6, you're considered a pro.
So you're considered a pro?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, if you see me in a competition, I look like a NASCAR driver. I got patches all over me.
I hear you.
So, and then what happened was we started this business, which is Hired Gun Horsemanship, and then I stepped off that stud horse, and I just rode him at the big nationals, and then I started training everything coming and going. So I rode a bunch of different horses in a lot of different states. I've shot a bunch of rounds off a lot of different horses.
Well, I got so many questions, I hope I can get them out. Now, not only do you use the 45s, but there's shotgun and rifle, right? Tell us a little bit about that.
Shotgun is new. Shotgun, you have 2 rounds, and it has to be a double barrel shotgun. It can be a 12 or a 20, but you're actually shooting the pistol round. The same pistol round we shoot with the 45s, we're shooting in the shotgun. The rifle's a little bit different. You're shooting, it's called a 4-in-1 cartridge. It can be a 45, a 44, or a 44-40 rifle, but they make one cartridge for that fits all those caliber guns. Because basically what you're shooting is black powder. There's no projectiles in any of the ammunition. There's no pellets. There's no peanut holes. There's nothing. It's just black powder, and at about 15 feet, those black burning embers are going to bust a balloon.
Huh. And how about the rifle?
The rifle, it has to be a lever action. You can be a revolving carbine. You shoot 5 balloons coming up the rundown. Now, the difference on the shotgun is you have clusters of balloons. Rifle's a little bit more exciting. The shotgun has come on in years because they made it a point tracking event. You shoot a cluster of 2 and then a cluster of 3.
Well, listen, I've learned a lot. I'm getting ready to learn more. Thanks. Folks, we're getting ready to get after it.
Hi, I'm Sterling Helms with Hired Gun Horsemanship, men's level 2 Eastern National Champion, and we'll be right back with more exciting horse tales.
Horse Tales is being brought to you by Perfect Partners Equine, a unique team approach to horse training. Brought to you by Joy Lewis Performance Horses for training, lessons, and boarding. See my good friend Joy Lewis down in Conway, South Carolina. Brought to you by Booty Brothers Western Store in Florence, South Carolina, and Lumberton, North Carolina, carrying the largest inventory of cowboy and work boots. Right on into Booty Brothers and mention Horse Tales, and then with a $50 order, you'll get a koozie. And a $100 order gets you a Marsh tacky hat. And folks, supplies are limited. Right into one of 7 family-owned John Dro's Piggly Wigglies and ask for Carolina Fresh Foods 3-pack fresh frozen chicken products. Always consistent quality and value for you, our valued customers. Carolina Fresh Foods. We are Fresh Delicious.
When you hear the name Earnhardt, you might not immediately think of farming. But my family's been at it for years, just like Nationwide Agribusiness. In fact, they're the #1 farm insurer in the nation. And with their On Your Side Farm Review, you get a personalized policy for your farm with the coverage you need at the right price for you. My family's trusted Nationwide for more than 30 years. To find out why, call your Nationwide Agribusiness agent today.
Folks, the Pee Dee Cowboy arrives for the brand, and my brand is Carolina Fresh Foods. We have a new product out on the range, so right on into your local Piggly Wiggly or other fine retailer and ask for Carolina Fresh Premium Leg Quarter. And folks, if they don't have one in the corral, tell them to get cracking and call the old Pee Dee Cowboy and his elite posse of chicken wranglers. Carolina Fresh Foods, the name says it all. We are Fresh Delicious.
2014 is the year of the horse. The South Carolina Department of Agriculture is working to promote your horses and your business. We are working to open new areas for trail use and to let the public know how important horses are. South Carolina has world-class horses and horse people. From race horses to show horses, we have the best. The South Carolina Department of Agriculture, letting people know how important horses are.
There once was a hungry road that wouldn't let drivers get very far. It wore out their tires, forcing them to buy new ones time and time again. Then along came the Michelin man who proved the right tire changes everything. With long-lasting tires in place, those drivers were back on the road to saving money. Michelin Hydro Edge tires last up to 33,000 miles longer. Michelin, a better way forward.
Folks, last time I had this much fun busting balloons, it was in 1975, and I got sent to the principal's office busting water balloons at Latta High School. But today, folks, had a great time here with the Helms, and I appreciate the hospitality. Made my first run off a little Appaloosa mare called Banjo. Folks, I believe I am hooked, and I had DP made a run, and he did great, folks. Like Lee said, cowboy crack. I had a great time here today, folks. You'll see a lot more of this cowboy mounted action here at Horsetails. Lee, I just can't say enough of good things about your family and what y'all have done here today. How can folks get in touch with you?
Well, they can always reach us on our website at hiredgunhorsemanship.com. Reach me by phone number, where our phone number is 704-791-9001. Always like us on Facebook, hiredgunhorsemanship.com. So, look us up on the web, give us a call, come and see us.
Folks, like I say, we had a great time. You'll see a lot of these pictures here on Facebook. And folks, this is what America's all about. God, family, and country. This is a family here, a family affair. Folks, like I say, it's what's made America strong, family. And folks, until next week, keep your reins low and your hands quiet, and God has and is blessing this great country, Island.